Hi guys, so in this video I'm going to be making a Synthwave track. Well, I've already made a Synthwave track. I'm going to be taking you through it. And the only thing I'll be using in this project is free plugins, free VST. So that's free effects and that's free synths as well. So all of these are completely free. Now I was contemplating whether or not to make this in a free DAW as well. Something like Reaper, something like that. But then, you know, a lot of people use FL Studio and they don't really recognise Reaper or anything like that, so I thought that'd be pretty pointless. I mean, I can, if you want, make it completely free, and I can do a tutorial in Reaper, but I thought you might get more benefit. You know, it might be more beneficial for me to show you in FL Studio, because I know a lot of people that watch these videos have FL Studio. So I'm going to quickly run through the track for you, show you the whole track, and then I'll go in and show you how it's made and what synths I've used to make this track. Okay. Okay, so there's a quick playthrough of the track. So just to tell you again, all these synths that I've used in this, all the effects that I've used in this, from the mixing, the mastering, everything, are all totally free. I'll leave a link to everything I've used in this project in the description below. So we'll start with the kick. first of all. So the kick is a drum machine called Vintage Drum Elements. There's quite a few different kits you can get hold of here, and I've gone for this one here, the RX21. And what I've got on this, I've got an EQ. This EQ is called Nova EQ. This is different to a normal EQ because it's also a parallel dynamic equalizer, so you can also compress as well as EQing. But I'm not going to be using the them sort of settings. I'm only going to be using the EQ settings. The reason I've chose this EQ is because it has an analyzer. A very, very faint analyzer, but it has an analyzer, and it's got these that you can draw in the bands and move them around. I know a lot of people would prefer this type of EQ to, say, a knobbed EQ where you just slide up and down. So what I've done here is I've boosted the bass a little bit, and then I've added this. This is a free compressor from Dead Duck. So again, we've got visual. Anyone who likes visualization, you've got it here. The EQ is pretty good. The other thing I would only say from the EQ is an output volume knob. Could I do with an output volume knob so we can turn it down? It's got a makeup knob and a mix knob and whatnot, input knob and whatnot, but there's no output knob. But again, it's an alright EQ. Again, free. So what I've got here, I've got the settings tack about 13, ratios about 4:1, -15, and then we've got a release for about 86 milliseconds. So without these, kick's just a little dull. So that's the kick, and then the snare is a Lindrum copy here, and this is assigned to channel 6. And what we've got on this is the DD reverb, so the Dead Duck reverb. This is like a room reverb. I wouldn't recommend it on synths or anything like that. This is good for drums and stuff like that. So I've got everything's mix is about 25%, width is up full, room size about 50, damp's about 50. That goes into an EQ. So I've got a high pass on the EQ, and we've got a boost here. Got a boost here at around 9,000 kilohertz, and then we have another Dead Duck free plugin, which is the Compressor, which I've already showed you on last video. So that is and this is dry. What I've also had to do on this, I've had to bring the sample slightly forward to make it hit at the same time as the kick hits, because with it being going through this VST, it seems to slow it down a little bit. Then we move on to the hi-hats. This is the same again from a Lindrum copy. And on the hi-hats we have basic EQ and a bit of compression as well. Then move on to the crash. The crash is taken from the Vintage Drum Elements kit again. So we've got some of the parameters on here. We can change sort of the high and low sensitivity of it. We can change the pitch, the range, the volume. We can add our own reverb to it as well. You can add some subbing if you want, some punch. We've got each individual controls for volume and pan. So this is a crash, and all we've got in this is some DD delay, Dead Duck delay. This is the stereo version of it. So some very, very simple drums. So for the bass line, we've gone for this Tyrrell N6. As you can see, it looks a little bit like Diva and Zebra and stuff like that. It's made by the same company that make those, and it's free. It's totally free, and it's a fantastic synth. So once you load this up, if you hit presets, there's some great synths here. There's some great sounds here, and if you hit this one, Doc M, you got some fantastic retro sounds here. Poly 6 pad, Prophet strings, OBX strings, some great sounds, Blade Runner, CS80 bass, some great sounds, and then you got some great brass sounds here, broken brass as one as well. Some great sounds. I'll run through these at the end, but some great sounds. But for this one, I decided to use the basic boogie bass. This is assigned to 9. And we have, for the volume control, so for the sidechain, I've gone for this big kicks dipper. Again, it's another free volume control plugin. It's quite fidgety to use, but it's free, so you can't really complain. One of the things you can do is you actually can control the free bands separate, so your low, your mid, and your high, you can control them separate as well, which is a good feature. And then this goes into, again, another compressor. So next we'll move on to the electric piano, the E piano. So this piano is called D Piano E, and this is from, again, Dead Duck. I will be doing a separate video on Dead Duck, but for now I'll quickly show you this. So Dead Duck piano, this goes to number 14. We have the Tal Chorus X LX, which is the chorus. It's a free chorus plugin from Tal, the guys that make the, what's it called? The Tal You Know. It's the chorus from this as a separate plugin, which is fantastic. Again, this goes into a delay from Dead Duck, and then this goes into an old school reverb. It's another free reverb. The reason I've chose this as well, the reason I'm using 2 reverb is because this is not like a room reverb where the other one purely is. This gives you, makes your synths sound a bit better. So do with them without. One thing that you will notice if you're using free synths, for the likes of this here, there isn't a lot of parameters you've got on here. So the more stuff like this, the more really basic free synths you use, the more you're going to have to do production wise. So the more effects you're going to have to add. Because a lot of the synths, you like of your Serum and stuff like that, they come built in with reverbs and expanders and compressors and limiters and all that sort of fancy stuff. Come built in with all them, so you can just flick them on in the synth, whereas this doesn't. This is your basic sound, and then you're gonna have to go in and add the effects on after. That's why you're noticing I've got a lot of effects on all these sort of stuff. So next, after the E piano, we've gone to the pad. This is the Poly 6 preset. It's fantastic sound, but it's a brilliant sound that for free. And again, this synth isn't, as I was just saying there about, you know, the free synths normally don't have a lot of effects on them. This has got all sorts on built into this as well. So you've got you know, quite a lot of different stuff, oscillators, a lot of LFOs, matrix gates and everything like this, and then you've got chorus down at the bottom that you can add in as well. So it's not, this is not your basic synth. It's very good considering it's free, and it's, again, there's some great sounds. So this is going to this. So again, what we've got on this is we've got a chorus, and then I've got the sidechain on it as well for when it kicks in, and then we have the ARP sound. And this is the PG8X, another great free synth, and with this, this is signed to track 12, and all this has on it is a filter, which is, again, it's from Dead Duck. So just a filter on there, just as it's filtering up. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the saxophone that you can hear in the song. So here we go with this. Pretty good considering it's free. So on this, we've got a few different things. We've got the Tal chorus. We have some EQ boosting here and up here, which is about, what is this? About 1,000 we got there, and then we got a high shelf there. Oh, that's EQ done. Then we have this Tal tube, which is like a saturator slash like overdrive tool, and we just got this turned up, the drive's turned up a little bit, and it's sort of dry So it's not the full synth is being put through this. It's only about what 25% of it. And then we have the old school reverb on there as well, which again is free. And then we have the compressor on the end. This TAL is actually made from the same guys that make this as well. You probably covered that with the name. Now without these on, the dry sound. So you can actually change this from tenor. So considering it's free, it's pretty good. And then the last synth we have here is this Blade Runner pad. And this goes to number 11, and on there we have some EQ. We have another tube. We have a DD reverb on there as well, and then a compressor. So that's really it for all the synths. So on the master, what we basically have is we have a compressor that's just catching the peaks, nothing more, just catching the peaks, nothing more. And then although it says TAL tube, it's actually this OTT multi-band compressor, and it's just the basic settings, and we brought the depth down to 20%. On top of that, we have a max loud, which is like a limiter, and that's just doing the limiting at the top end of the track. So that's about it, guys. There is some free plugins there that some of them are really good, especially that Tyrrell N6. That's a fantastic plugin. I'm definitely going to be using that on some of my future projects. But apart from that, guys, that is how you can make a synthwave track without spending a single penny on synths or effects. So while I've been doing this, I've learned that like when you're using the free plugins, the free synths and stuff, some of them need a lot of work done to them. So you can get some really raw sounds that have potential, and you have to really sculpt that using plugins. To really get the sound that you want. Whereas if you're going to the likes of Serum and Nexus and all sorts of stuff like that, they have them effects already turned on for you. So it's a little bit more work if you're making a track for free, but again, the results can be more or less exactly the same. So I hope you found some of these synths useful. I hope you're going to grab some from below. So again, all these synths and effects and everything will all be zipped up in a folder for you to grab below from the comments. But guys, that's about it for this video. So thanks for watching.